Alright guys, I'm going to show you how to make my sourdough discard vegan crepes. So the first thing we're going to do is we have a whole cup of sourdough starter discard. It can be cold or warm. I have a fourth a cup of heavy whipping cream and a tablespoon of sugar. We're going to mix all three of these together and then we're going to let it set. I would say let it set for the longest is like 8 hours, but I'm making this in the morning so that we can make it this evening. I'm gonna mix all that together. And you can use normal plant-based milk for this, but I find using the vegan heavy whipping cream makes these just even lighter and more delightful. So now I'm just gonna cover this and I'm going to let it set probably for 6 to 8 hours until I'm ready to make these. But in the meantime, I'm going to make a strawberry filling. It'll be kind of like a compote, almost like a syrup. I'm going to use this whole bag of whole strawberries. It is a whole pound. We're going to dump this right in the pan. I'm going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice. And then I'm going to add a whole cup of stevia to this. You don't have to add stevia. You can use whatever sweetener you'd like. Now we're going to turn that on a medium-low heat. Give this a good mix. And it's okay if you smash up the strawberries, that's kind of the point. And I'm basically going to let this cook down. I'm not going to add any liquid unless I need to, because I really kind of want these to almost be like a stewed kind of strawberry texture. And as you can see, there's like a syrup developing on the bottom. You want to keep smushing down these strawberries. Just keep smashing them down till they're, I don't want to say a paste, but it's like a puree. And when your strawberries are nice and smushy like this, we're going to add a cornstarch slurry. I made this with 2 tablespoons of water and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. And we're just going to stir that around and cook it on low until it starts to thicken up. And this is the texture I'm looking for. Glossy, but still pourable. Nice chunky strawberry puree in there. And we're going to turn off the heat. I'm going to cover this and I'm going to let it set until it is time to make the crepes. Now the other ingredients we're going to need for our crepes is a 1/3 of a cup of just egg, a 1/4 of a cup of melted butter, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I am using vanilla bean paste because that's what I have. We're also going to need a pinch of salt. All right, now it is time to make our crepes. So you want to have a pretty big size pan. You want it to be nice and even, non-stick preferably. They do have crepe pans, but I'm not going to buy a pan like that to make crepes. You really don't need it. All right, so we're going to add in our 1/3 cup of just egg, our vanilla extract or paste, whatever you got, and our 1/4 cup of melted vegan butter. Now I'm using my hand blender here and I'm just going to mix this all together. And this is what it's looking like. It should be thin, but not too thin. You want it to be slightly thicker than this. So you're gonna pop this in the fridge to let it thicken up a little bit. All right, so you want to get your pan heat up to about a medium before we start cooking these crepes. And I would recommend, even though it is a nonstick pan, I am going to do a little bit of spray oil on it. So what I like to do is take a spoonful of the mixture and just pour it in there and use the spoon to kind of thin it out. And you're going to want to let this cook until it looks like there's no more wet batter, and you can carefully pick it up and flip it. The first one's always not pretty, but the more you do this, the better you'll get at it. You can also do the twirling method. You can put some in the pan and just twirl it around. And even sometimes I rip my crepes, so don't feel bad if you rip it too, but you really want this lacing. That's what you're looking for. And you'll want to have a tray off to the side to put your crepes on when they're done. And then just keep repeating until you've used all of your crepe batter. And voila, these are two different ways that I like to make my crepes. So this is like a custardy filling that I made to fill up donuts that I made. If you want the recipe for that, that is in the sourdough discard donut video. And then I put the strawberry compote syrup thing that I made in there, and then I drizzled it with chocolate ganache that I thinned out with milk. That recipe is also in the sourdough discard donuts recipe. And this one I filled with custard and bananas, and then I drizzled it with my tahini salted caramel sauce. That recipe is in the tahini leftover makeover tahini video. It is the salted caramel chocolate chip cookies. And don't those just look amazing?